is a blessing to the truck. And then they bless the boats and the motorcycles and the little output here, or whatever that is, the chair area where they sit. We got it all blessed. So now we're good to go. If you're Catholic. I'm Christian, not Catholic, but they soaked the inside of the car and the outside and hit the engine. So everything's been blessed, but yeah. Right, Kristen?
Yep.
Yeah. Alright, get you there. Alright. You gotta make sure it's on me, you goof.
It's on you.
Yeah. Don't. Jesus. Okay. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. So, for the last year and a half, Chris and I have been pretty much car shopping and pricing and stuff. Here in the Philippines, it's a lot different from probably where you're at, if you're in a westernized country. First off, I was kind of shocked when it was all done through Facebook Messenger. You can physically go into the car dealer and price cars and stuff like that, but a majority of it is done. You can buy a car from anywhere in the Philippines you want, wherever you're at, and they'll ship it to you. We first started with a couple car dealers where we had gone in and talked to them and got the number and talked, you know, about stuff. And another one was a referral from our bank and stuff. And we had been trying for pretty much a year and a half to get a vehicle and to check it out. But hardcore for last year, we've been really looking. That's where we've talked to a salesperson. They've submitted our application, our paperwork and documents all to the banks, and the banks will either come back yes or no. Well, throughout the year, we've had a couple of yeses, but it's always been they want to jack the down payment to like 400,000 pesos, and then they want our payments to be 49,000 and stuff like that. And I'm like, whoa, that's interest on a 1.5 mil loan in pesos, not dollars. That's an interest of like 60 or 70%. It's crazy. I'm not doing that. I'm not stupid. You know, I'm crazy, not stupid. But yeah, I'm not used to this high interest kind of thing. So we'd be like, no, we're okay on that. Let's go back to the original one. Try to submit it through banks. So we submitted it through a whole bunch of banks all the time for the last year. Now we've tried it here in Southern Leyte, we've tried it in Leyte, we tried it in Cebu, we've tried it in Manila, we've tried it in Davao, where we've talked to these salesmen through the messenger online and submitted our documents and stuff like that to go for it. Well, here's a rundown on the documents you really need to submit. You need to have a bank account for at least 3 months in good standing, with stuff going in and out of it, in a Philippines bank. Now, Kristen and I have a dual account with PNB, and Kristen has an RCBC account, and I have my Chase Bank account back in the United States. So we'd submit the documents for the bank account, which means you got to prove that it's your bank. So you need your IDs, your passport, your bank account, ledger, I guess. I don't know how you call it here. Here I can go onto my bank and Chase and screenshot my or download it through PDF my financial stuff in my bank and my statements, my bank statements. But here in the Philippines, you got to physically go to the bank, pay 100 pesos per copy of your bank statement. So I wasn't used to that. I'm like, whoa, what? And they want usually 3 months back for your bank statement, but we did a 3 months and a 6 month, just in case, because I wanted to. It's always better to be overkilling it than underkilling it and have to go run and do paperwork when you don't have a vehicle and you got to travel an hour just to get to your bank. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, I progress. No, whatever. So you need your IDs, you need your bank statement, you need your passport, Your significant other, if you're buying it with a Filipina, that's what I did because she's my wife, so it's a lot easier. We needed our marriage certificate, authentic marriage certificate. We needed the copy of my passport inside the passport page plus the stamp. We needed my ACR card. My ACR card. The ACR card is under tourist, so that was one of the things. Some of the banks are like, oh, nope, you're under a tourist visa, you can't have a loan. And other banks were like, oh, yeah, you're good. Tourist visa, and you got a Philippines driver's license, yeah. Oh, your bank account's not, you know, 6 months old. Bad, no, we can't do it. And we're like, oh my gosh. So it's either one or the other. We're back and forth for a year, which put time on our bank account, put time on my ACR. You know, our first car we were going after was, we were looking at Fords, but they were very expensive. We couldn't, I didn't fathom wanting to pay that much for, I mean, a Ford Ranger is technically what it kind of is. I mean, that's what it is. It's a Ford Ranger, but it's a Wildtrak. But a Ranger, if you're a truck person in the United States, isn't really a truck to get. You want like an F-150. Now, the 2003 models are big. I wouldn't really, it's defined as a Ranger, but I would be more inclined to call it an F-100 because literally you can get a body kit for this car, I'm sorry, truck, and it becomes an F-150. It's like 2 inches shorter on each side for an F-150, so 4 inches, and it'd be an F-150. I mean, it's a big truck. This isn't your typical Ranger that I grew up with. You know, the little puny, small little trucks. So, anyways, I'm getting off subject. So back to the paperwork. After you submit the stuff, and we submitted it, screenshots, all that stuff, through Messenger, to the car salesman, then they send it off to the bank, and the bank decides, and the bank talks about it, and they come back, and so one would be like, oh, you're under a tourist ACR card, it's not a permanent, no. Then other banks that would approve the ACR card would say, oh, your bank account's not 3 months or 6 months, no. We're like, man, we just can't win. What the hell? So then all of a sudden, I mean, like I said, I've talked to probably 12 or 13 freaking different dealerships and dealers, and all of them are the best salesmen in the dealership and da-da-da, and none of them could get approved. But when they did get approved, the bank would come back with the whole, oh, well, you're gonna need to up your down payment. So they have a special going on. It's 96,000 pesos for the down payment, and the bank will say, you know, and it's like 26,000 for the payments. And the bank will say, oh, no, we got, okay, we'll approve it, but we want 500,000 down, or 400,000 down, or 399,000 down, and the payments are going to jump to 36 to 49 or something like that. And I'm like, I'm just not willing to pay that. You know, 33,000 pesos is around 600 bucks for a payment. I'm comfortable with that. But I'm stuck in traffic now, so whatever. So we'd almost basically given up. I mean, and here's the different thing. With different dealerships, dealing with different banks, it's different costs. So there'd be a special going on for Mitsubishi here in Ormoc for like 96,000, 26,000 a month. And then you'd look at Cebu, and Cebu would have it at like 30,000 down. And we were like, whoa, well, let's go to Cebu then. Well, we've been submitting it under my name. Then we found out throughout the whole period and dealing with different salesmen that actually we should put it in Kristen's name. And then I'm, what do they call that here?
Co-maker.
Yeah, the co-maker. Yeah, in layman's terms, a co-maker, which that's what we're used to, but they were calling it something else. It's a different word, but yeah. So we started doing that, and we started having more hits and more success, but they were always jacking up the price. So finally, we're just like, we've been through everything, and we're just like, we're just not going to get a vehicle. Now, when we were first here, we were always like, man, them Raptors are awesome. We want one, da-da-da. You know, but Ford, we could never afford it because it's always a high down payment. Well, something happened throughout COVID that made Ford lower their down payments. So we had basically given up last month on getting a vehicle. We were just like, it's just not gonna fucking happen. I don't know how else to say it. we're out of luck. And I was at one last ditch effort. I'm like, you know, I just want to drive one of those Fords. So I hit up the closest Ford dealership to us, which is in Ormoc, and I was like, hey, how much are your trucks? So he sent me a whole list, and you know, you have the XL, the XLT, the Sport, the Wildtrak, and then the Raptor. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, you got any deals going on? He's like, well, yeah, we got, you know, the trucks are all this. And I'm like, whoa, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, they're 96,000 down and 33,000 for payments, or 34,000, or 35, or 36, something like that. I was like, oh, that's kind of, I mean, I can pay that budget, but I didn't want to. I'm kind of stingy on my money. You know, I like to spend it more on food and going places and doing things. So I'm just kind of like, I want to drive this truck. Let's take a road trip and go drive it. I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead and try it. You know, in my head, I'm clearly not going to get the approved and stuff like that. So I've had all these documents saved in a folder on my phone for a year, you know, so I know everything and I have all the documents. So we immediately just sent him all the stuff, and he's just like, oh, you've got it all. And I'm like, yeah, there's all your criteria. My license, my Philippines license, my passport pictures, my wife's passport, her TIN ID, her, what other ID did you use?
Phil Health.
Yeah, her Phil Health ID, our marriage license, you know, that's pretty much the gist of it. Oh, then the bank account stuff. But I knew the bank account was going to be out of date. So I knew we were going to have to get another one, but I kind of just sent it in there just to see what would happen if they'd bite. He sent it off, and I'm thinking, oh man, because the other times we talked to dealerships, it's taken 2, 3, 4 months. I mean, we'd always get a hit immediately from a bank, and within 2 weeks to 3 weeks, they're sending out somebody to check, you know, do the CI, where they, the bank sends somebody to the house. Well, first they call and they talk to you, then they come out to the house and they take pictures of your house, pictures of your driveway, talk to you about your finances and how long you lived there and stuff like that. And a lot of car dealerships will tell us to lie about it and, oh, say that you own it and say that you lived there for 5 years and stuff like that and da-da-da. The car dealership that I talked to with the Ford guy, he's like, dude, just tell him you rent it. How long you been there? A year and a half, 2 years? He's like, just tell him, be honest. I'm like, okay, all right, we'll do it. And I'm just thinking, I just want to test drive the car. I know I'm not going to get it approved. It's just not going to happen. We've been trying for a year and a half, and for a year hardcore, and it's just never happened. So he sends off our paperwork to RCBC Bank. Now this is the second bank when we first started doing it a year ago that said, never going to happen. Literally, it was like Tuesday we submitted it. Thursday I'm saying, hey, can we come out and test drive a car? And he's like, yeah, we got an XLT here, come on out. Thursday we're out test driving the car. We're talking to him. He's like, did the bank call? And I'm like, no, the bank hasn't called. He calls the bank while we're in a test drive. They say, oh, we're sending out a person tomorrow. We'll meet you there. We're like, okay. That's kind of fast, but all right, whatever. He comes out Friday?
Saturday.
Okay, we're test driving on Friday. He came out Saturday, the next day. He was there for like 15 minutes and took off.
Yeah.
He came all the way from Cebu, took a fast cat out, or a boat, came in, did it, was there 15 minutes, took off, went back. That was a Saturday, and what was it? Tuesday? Monday? No, Monday. The following Monday.
Yeah, Monday we get approved because there's no, it's closed in the
yeah, it's closed Sunday. Monday you come back and it's approved. We're like, approved? What? And he's like, yeah, here's the only difference though. He goes, I didn't submit it for the 96, I submitted it for 218,000 down and 33 a month. And it's approved, you got it, do you want it? And I'm like, Yeah, okay. He's like, all right, you need to put 10,000 down for it. And I'm like, okay, so we put 10,000 down to hold it. We thought it was the vehicle in there, but that one was already gone. Basically, when you put the 10,000 down, they start looking for a vehicle to bring back for you. A week later, we're like, you know, they still haven't found it, and I'm like, here's 90,000. We had to wait till the next month to make the payment anyway, so we're like, hey, we're gonna wait till the next month. But here is 80,000 more to show that we're serious. So they've got 90,000 of our money. The next month, which was this month, in July, we're like, here's the full down payment. So we pay the other 126 or 27,000 to cover the whole thing. So it's the 218, and now we're just waiting for a vehicle and waiting for the payment to go through. I did a bank-to-bank international payment, which cost me $40 US, and we're like, oh, it's supposed to go through on the 10th, So this was completely not his fault. It wasn't my fault. It was just a lack of communication. Their finance person was looking for a 218,000 peso money drop when it wasn't that. We'd already submitted 90, so it was 126,000 plus. And we're like, it's not there yet. My bank's telling me it's there. It's not there. No, it's saying it's there. And the 13th comes on, and I'm going, what in the heck? That doesn't make sense. So I'm like, you know what? Forget this. So I call RCBC in Cebu. Metro. And I'm like, or Metro Bank. Yeah, I'm sorry, Metro. Yeah, I made the transfer to Metro. And I called Metro, and I'm like, what's going on? Da, da, da. Here's my number. Here's my name. Here's what's up. And he's like, oh, I see it. It's right here. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, 126,000. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's here. It's been here since the 1st. I'm like, what? Now I'm scrambling to get off the phone with him. I call my dealer, and he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, 126,000. It's been there since the 1st. And he's like, so he hits up his financial person. His financial person's like, oh, I thought you said 218. He's like, no, 120. She's like, oh, yeah, I see it. It came in on the 1st, and it was cleared on the 3rd. We're like, oh my gosh, the car's there on the 13th. That's why I was scrambling, because we had to wait till the 13th anyways for the car. So he's like, well, you want to come pick it up tomorrow? I'm like, hell no, dude. Let's come pick it up now. What are you talking about? Tomorrow? No, I'm impatient, man. So we jump in a multi-cab, then to a van from Masson, take the van, go to the dealership. You've seen the dealership video stuff of it. That's us getting the car, the celebration, all that stuff. So, I mean, if you guys want, and it doesn't matter where you're at in the Philippines, this dude can hook you up very fast for a foreigner on a tourist visa for a vehicle. I'll link him in the description to his Facebook and how to get a hold of him and stuff like that. It doesn't matter where you're at. He can ship to you. He's done deals in Manila and Cebu where he has it delivered to that dealership and they pick it up for you and you sign the paperwork there. And he can work it out for you. It's very smooth, Nathan. What? It's very smooth. Yeah, very, very smooth. The only hiccup we had was the miscommunication on the finances going through, and they'd already gone through. And it's a pain in the butt when you buy a vehicle. You saw all the paperwork she's filling out. You didn't see my filling out too. She had a stack about this big of paperwork she had to fill out. And I had a stack about that big of paperwork I had to fill out. You had to sign your name 3 times on everything, then you had to sign your initials and your name and all this on literally 50 or 60 different papers, and then you got to do it 3 times because they got 3 different copies. But I'm telling you, it's smooth. It was smooth. Compared to everything else. Now, it's not like the Western United States where you can walk in, you walk out that day. It takes you a bit, but you do it on Messenger and it's all quick and easy. But, alright, well that's that. Me telling you about it. Next you're going to see the inside of the vehicle and traveling around or whatever. I got to go get a drink. All this talking has made me thirsty. Slushy time, baby. Peace.